All right, so today we're diving into a really fascinating story about a single day on the Indian Railways network. It's a day that saw two completely different derailments happen hundreds of kilometers apart. It's a tale of massive disruption, sure, but it also has an outcome that's, well, surprisingly fortunate. So let's get right into it. The date is August 8th, 2025. You've got two separate, pretty significant derailments. How does something like that even happen on the same day? What was the real impact on the ground? And what can these two events tell us about the sheer challenge of running one of the biggest rail networks on the planet? So, our story kicks off on Friday, August 8th, 2025, and this day would really put the resilience of Indian Railways to the test in two very, very different parts of the country.
Let's start with the first incident, over in Maharashtra. This one kind of sets our baseline for what a relatively minor, though still disruptive, derailment really looks like.
At Nandgaon Station in Nashik, the whole mess was caused by just one single thing: an empty goods coach. That's it. On the surface, it sounds like a pretty minor problem, right? But check out how fast they dealt with it. The derailment happens just after 7 in the morning. A little over 2 hours later, they've already got the coach back on the rails. And before noon, the entire main line is up and running again. I mean, that's a textbook case of an efficient recovery. But here's the catch. Even a small incident on a critical route causes major headaches. We're talking about a main line heading toward Mumbai. So yeah, it held up several major long-distance trains, including big names like the Rajdhani and Duronto Expresses. That means thousands of passengers were facing serious delays.
But for all the disruption, all the delays, here's the most important fact from this first event. No one got hurt. A quick fix, and most importantly, 0 injuries. Now remember that, because we're about to turn to the second incident. Because on that very same day, while all that was happening, hundreds of kilometers away in Jharkhand, a whole different story was unfolding. Something far more dramatic.
This time it wasn't one coach. Nope. Near Chandel Station, it was 24 wagons. 24. You heard that right. This wasn't a minor incident. This was a major, major accident.
So how on earth does this happen? Well, it wasn't a simple derailment. The reports confirmed it was actually a collision. You've got two massive freight trains moving on tracks right next to each other, and they sideswiped. You can just imagine the chaotic scene of twisted metal that followed.
And the ripple effect on passenger services here, it was just enormous. The prestigious Vande Bharat Express was canceled, just gone for the day. Countless other trains, from the local Mimu commuter services to the long-distance expresses, were either canceled, rerouted, or just forced to stop dead, leaving passengers completely stranded.
And yet, here is the most astonishing fact of the entire day. Despite a massive collision with 2 freight trains and 24 derailed wagons, the reports confirmed the exact same outcome as the first incident: no injuries among the crew. Absolutely remarkable. Okay, so let's put these two events side by side to really see what's going on. On one hand, you have a minor derailment that was managed in just a few hours, and on the other, a major collision causing widespread chaos.
So look, in Maharashtra, it's one derailed coach fixed in less than 4 hours. In Jharkhand, it's a 2-train collision with restoration still going on. The impact and the scale, they're just worlds apart. But then you look at that bottom row, the most important one. In both cases, the number of casualties was exactly the same: 0.
So what are we supposed to make of all this? When you really look past the logistical headaches and the tangled mess of that day, one number just stands out above all the rest: 0. That was the total number of injuries across both of these very different, very disruptive events. From a single derailed coach to a massive 24-wagon collision, not a single person was reported injured. It really shows that while the railway network faced this immense operational challenge, from a human safety perspective, the day was a success. It's a powerful reminder that, yeah, delays are frustrating, but keeping people safe, that's the absolute top priority. Of course, the story isn't totally over. A departmental investigation has been launched to figure out the exact cause of that collision in Jharkhand, to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. This whole tale of two derailments, it really highlights both the fragility and the incredible resilience of the system. And it leaves us with a pretty big question. In a network that runs thousands of trains every single day, how do you manage that delicate balance between constant movement and absolute safety, day in and day out?